Hi guys, it's Terrence from The Goods, and once again, I am back to complain about another movie. This time, it's the sequel to Avatar, Avatar 2: Way of the Water.
Oh, come on!
Now, I know this film is about 3 or so hours long, so there's a lot of things going on, and probably most of it went over your head, but here's some things I noticed. Now, if you're one of the 2 people that still haven't seen this movie, because it's made about $2 billion worldwide, so I assume everybody has actually had a chance to see this film. That's why I'm doing the video now. But once again, if you haven't, here's your spoiler warning. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and get into it. Now, in the original Avatar, one of the reasons why they had to bring back Jake Sully is because he was a genetic match for his twin brother who had died, so that way they could use the Avatar. But in Avatar 2, it seems that they didn't really need to do that because they were able to bring back Miles Orich, who had died in the original Avatar. They were able to clone him from his dead body and then put him into an Avatar, and they didn't even need to use the technology to control the Avatars remotely. They could just implant his memories, his clone copy memories, into the Avatar, and then that Avatar was autonomous, and that could go on without him. So it really kind of stepped on the first movie about why they even really needed the genetic clone or the genetic twin of his brother in Jake Sully. But wait, it actually also steps on the fact that why did they even send the scientists? Because they didn't need to use them remotely. They could have cloned everybody's brain, put them inside the avatars, and then just use the avatars on the planet without even having to risk anybody. I mean, technically clones they'd be risking, but they really didn't have to risk anybody on that particular mission. And while I'm speaking about that, why didn't they just actually send military guys? Because the whole point was to actually get the Na'vi to move out of the way so that way they could clone the unobtainium. So it really steps on all that they set up in the plot of the first movie and what they established in this second movie. All right, number 2. Why doesn't the military stop chasing Jake Sully when he abandons the Na'vi and the forest people? He just goes on and says, nah, I don't want to do this, I quit. But they said, nah, we're gonna keep chasing him, even though they're supposed to be going after the tree area under the life tree where the unobtainium is, because that's their whole point of coming back, is to kind of clear them out to win that particular war so they can continue to mine. But they just decided to chase Jake Sully the whole movie. And I know it was a personal vendetta from clone memories, which really doesn't make sense to me. But if that whole plan was to get rid of Jake Sully so that way they can continue their business as usual with mining unobtainium, why didn't it stop when he gave up and he went to the water people? Number 3, speaking of unobtainium, how did they just make it pointless in this whole movie? So in the original movie, unobtainium was this particular material that powered everything that they were using to make all the money to pay for all the technology and work and stuff that they were doing on the planet all the way out in the middle of space. That's what they needed to do. It was so rare and unobtainable.
Move this man!
That they had to go through all of this and they had to risk killing an alien species just to get it. Or in this movie, they decide to say, we don't need an unobtainium. We got the Wells brain because that's really paying for everything that's here. And it's probably worth twice to 3 times what the unobtainium was. So if that's the case, and the unobtainium wasn't what they really needed or wasn't really bringing in the big bucks that they needed, and the Wells brains was the whole thing that they really wanted on it, why did they need to bring the military in to get rid of the Na'vi when the Na'vi were okay with them hunting the Wells as long as it wasn't the personal ones that they knew? They were literally turning a blind eye to them killing the Wells as long as it was miles away. So the whole war on the planet really didn't need to be had. Okay, next, let's go ahead and double back to the Avatar themselves. All right, so we are going to accept that they needed the scientists to be out there for some particular reason to run the avatars. But when they clone the avatar bodies, why on earth did they give them reproductive organs? Like, who thought that through, saying like, hey, we're gonna give them an extra finger, which we know is different, but I assume that's because, hey, we're rigged to have 5 fingers and they didn't want to make it so foreign to us when we're controlling the avatars. I get that. But somebody said that, hey, you know what? We need to give them ovaries and a uterus and a penis and semen, and for no particular reason at all, unless we were already thinking that we were gonna crossbreed with the Na'vi, or like the movie suggests, we're gonna get into the avatars and have sex with each other. What was the purpose of that? Okay, guys, I'm gonna go back to what Jake Sully was doing. Okay, so everybody is with the water people, and they have to learn how to swim and so on and so forth, so that way they can be part of the tribe. But along being the whole learning how to swim and things, they introduce them to a species of underwater animal or fish or something, like a little butterfly fish, that somehow you can connect to yourself and help you breathe underwater. Why are they not using this thing 100% of the time? Like, literally, this is a big plot hole that where it gets towards the end of the movie, and then it's like, oh, we're trapped in water, but for some particular reason, we could have had butterfly fish on our back, and we could have been amphibious Na'vi, and we'd have never had to worry about breathing. With that being said, since the Na'vi told them how to, swim and hold their breath for deep, long periods of time, and that's literally the second half of this movie, why on earth, when they're having a water fight, is them getting trapped in a boat such a major issue, when the whole plot of this movie was them learning how to hold their breath for a longer period of time and swim and dive and take care of everything that they need to do underwater? This literally should have been the best case scenario for them. They should have been like, all right, cool, we have the advantage because we could swim out of here with no problem because the regular sea people helped us figure out how to do this. Back on that, another reason that kind of sticks out in my head is that the little Tarzan guy, the son of Miles Quaritch, his son that got left there that wants to be part of the Na'vi people, he gets a rebreather that they place on his face so that way he can breathe the air on the planet. But also too, it lets him breathe underwater. So when everybody got trapped underwater in the boat, which they never should have got trapped under, why didn't he get in there to come help them? I mean, literally, he had the proper equipment to go ahead and do it. So much so that, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, he saves Miles Quaritch, the Avatar version of him, because he can breathe underwater with the whole mask and everything, when he literally could have went to go save his friends. Explain that one to me. Okay, lastly, this is a small one, but it really kind of nagged me when I watched it in the movies. We're gonna go back to the part where Jake Sully's son is out there because he got tricked to go out to in the outskirts where they weren't supposed to go fishing, and he gets left out there and gets attacked, and he has nobody to help save him except for the little whale thing that's out there. So that's fine, and it's a way to kind of show his connection with the animal and him kind of doing it on his own. But the whole movie, they keep talking about that they have these little neck communicators where they always stay in contact with Dad. That one particular moment, he doesn't have the net communicator or isn't on him, and he just never uses it. It really lost me on that because they never really address it. It wasn't damaged because he uses it later in the film. It comes up. He's like, Dad, hey, this happens. Dad, oh, this happens. But one moment where he really needed, where he was on his own and he was gonna die, he doesn't have it. Yeah, I know it's a small nitpick. And I know you guys are probably gonna say, oh, well, he probably turned it off because he wasn't supposed to be out there with him. And I was like, yeah, but I say he didn't turn it off. And they never really addressed that. And for some particular reason, they just kind of glossed over that point. Or maybe he was willing to die. All right, guys, that's all I got for this movie. I mean, I can go on a lot longer, but I figured I pick out the ones that really kind of stood out to me, and maybe if you had noticed it, it was definitely some things that I noticed. If this is the first time that you're on the channel, make sure you subscribe as well as click the notification button so that way you're aware of all the other videos that we do on the channel. And because I'm probably going to bring back things I've noticed because I've been sitting around lately watching movies and I'm scratching my head like, who wrote this? All right, guys, that's all I got for now. You take care.